It was just supposed to be a normal meeting at the pastor's house, a leadership meeting of some of the Sunday school teachers and youth leaders after church on a Sunday night. I happened to have been working as an intern at the church at the time. It was a church that I was saved, baptized, and ordained in. Pastor Rogers was the pastor at the time and the gentleman under which I grew up at this church. He was a great guy. But that evening, he said something to one of the youth leaders in our meeting that should not have triggered the guy, but it triggered him. At that moment, he got so angry, he stood up in the pastor's house, pointed at the pastor who was sitting on his fireplace with his legs crossed. The pastor just sat there and looked at him, didn't sweat, didn't turn red, didn't respond. He yelled and screamed at him, and he looked over at his wife, and he said to his wife, "Are you coming with me or are you staying here?" Well, the gentleman's wife decided discretion was a better part of valor, and she got up and walked out the door with him. The entire room, all of us there, sat in stunned silence. And then we looked at the pastor to see what he was going to say. He simply said, well, he said, so-and-so is going through a rough time right now, so let's give him a little bit of space. And then he went on about his business. I'm not so sure that even today I would have handled it quite so gently. But you see, we are all going to be triggered at some points in our lives, at several points in our lives. It's easier to get triggered today more than ever. It's easy when we see a problem that overwhelms us, that we want to speak out and we want to say something. And when we do, we wind up often creating more conflict instead of being able to at least get our point across. See, here's the thing. We've been talking over the past few weeks about how our words matter. Our words matter even more when we are triggered. Because when we get triggered, we see what we perceive to be a problem and we're trying to offer a solution. But often in offering the solution, it creates a bigger problem. So how do we prevent that from happening? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about this Sunday, June 26th at Community Bible Church right here in Dania Beach. I'm going to be talking and continuing my series, I should say, called Words Matter, What to Do When You're Triggered. We're going to look at a really interesting story in the life of the Apostle Paul that happened in the book of Acts. We're going to take a look at this story, and it's incredible because Paul himself was triggered, but he handled the situation so differently that it is a model for how we can handle these situations today when we see a problem and we want to fix it. So if you've ever had to deal with conflict, if you've ever been triggered, if you've ever maybe spoken and made the situation worse than it needed to be, this Sunday, June 26th is for you. We have two services at Community Bible Church, one at 9:45 a.m. and one at 11 o'clock a.m., both in-person services. If you're around in the area, we'd love to have you join us at one of those two services. If you can't join us in person, then connect with us online at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel. If you're not receiving any of our updates or the links, you can sign up to receive those at info@cbcfl.org. info@cbcfl.org. Just send us an email with your phone number, ask to be included in the text messages, and we'll make sure we send you that link out. I know that you, like me, have often been in situations where you get triggered and you want to get your point across, but if you want to get your point across without creating a bigger problem, I guarantee you there's something that we can learn this Sunday. We'll see you Sunday at Community Bible Church, either in person or online.